Welcome to the 2017-18 Boston Bruins season. We've done some auditions this season over the summer. Here and there, it's been sporadic. Joe Gill and I on the Bruins beat here on CLNS Network. But let me tell you, this is for real now. The preseason's over, Joe. Mr. Joe Gill.
Finally.
Do you have your beer of choice? Because I know you are a beer snob. Do you have your beer of choice? Or maybe we'll give you a top 3 that will be consumed during various Bruins games over this 2017-18 season. Feel free to give them a plug in the hopes.
Okay, sure. I'm going to go number 3, Jimmy, you're as old as I, so I'm going to go with some Key Dukakis rubbing alcohol, not kid.
That's what we might need in April if the Bruins aren't playing playoff hockey, right?
All right. For all you people, not 35 years old or older, please Google that. I will go with Pulp out of Worcester, the Greater Good Imperial Brewing Company, Phenoms. I will also go with anything Trillium puts out of Boston. And I will also go with Abandoned Building out of, I think it's East Hampton, Massachusetts. I had my cousin bring some out from Western Mass. Fucking great. I'm going to say fucking great because it is fucking great. And I'm going to also say I want a big cup of black and gold hockey.
All right, well, you say fucking great there. I need to, before we get into this, tell a quick story from bartending recently. So, as you may know, if anyone who follows me on Facebook or Twitter here and there, I bartend at a Thai restaurant. Yes, James Patrick Murphy, bartending at a Thai restaurant.
That's a Thai name.
Yes, upscale Thai restaurant in Needham, Mass. And
I need him in my loins.
So, Joe, they come to me and they're asking me about sort of Boston accents and all that,
oh, Jesus.
And all the famous things like, I park my car and have a yacht.
I hate that.
Okay, yeah, but they're Thai. This wait staff, there's all these servers and my hostess, awesome peeps, by the way. They're fresh off the boat. Some of them within the last month from Thailand. All right, and so they're trying to not only learn English, but they want to get down and dirty and learn the English language.
From you.
Okay, and
from you.
I give them, they say, teach us some Boston stuff. And immediately I just said, fucking pissa. So Joe, they don't quite understand yet how to apply that in certain situations. And the other day, one of them handed a wine glass for me to pour some wine in. They were trying to help out. We were getting slammed, and she puts one in front of me, right? And she does it. It just slides across and knocks off 3 other drinks and smash. Everything breaks. And she just looks at me and goes, fucking pissa.
Oh. You know what, Jimmy? I'll tell you right now. If you can spread the word of the Commonwealth to people of all nations.
I tried. But it's really great. And we actually watched the Bruins Blackhawks game that they won there, the final home preseason game. And she finally, through watching that, through hockey and the Bruins, she now understands when and how to use fucking pissa.
You know what's kind of funny is that my buddy's married to a Chinese girl, and her mother was over, I think during the Stanley Cup final playoffs in 2013. I tell you, she was into it. She was into it. She wanted all about the Hawks, all about the hockey. You know what I mean?
My friend, I did tweet this 2 years ago, got laughed at, and by the way, where's the NHL trying to push their game right now?
China.
Yeah, that's right. That's right, my friend. And listen, for those who might have not thought that discussion was just politically correct in any way, I'll just tell a quick story. Me in Montreal trying to learn the French language, same thing. They would teach me how to. They would tell me about tabernacle, and I would not. I'd go up. I'm trying to hit on a French girl, and I'm saying tabernacle. When really that's not the thing you say to somebody when you're trying to woo them romantically.
What do you say?
That I don't know, and that's why I struck out many times.
Get on my pogo stick.
Tabernacle is not the slogan to say there. Anyhow, let's get into some Bruins right now, my friend. The boys are back, as we heard the Dropkick Murphys playing as we came in there and rambled about nonsense. I can't believe it, Joe. I mean, it feels like I was sitting in a post-Boston Marathon party in Boston next to the wonderful Jen Royal of Baseball Network, MLB Network.
I know Jen Royal.
Yeah, she's a wonderful person, and we were talking hockey as we watched the Bruins Senators and Bobby Ryan score an overtime goal. I believe it was Game 4. Correct me if I'm wrong. And the Senators go on to win that in 6, but still it wasn't like this deflated, that sucked, fire hope. Him, fire that, fire this. It was hope that came out. It reminded me, Joe, of when we were kids and we could push a team to 6 games in the first round. Not this, and we're part of it, Joe, both of us. I'm not just singling out millennials, but they are spoiled. But not this completely spoiled Boston sports landscape where, it's a championship or bust. Bruins fans are back to reality. And we're really kicking the 90s here. Back to life, back to reality.
Oh, soul to soul. Let's do this.
That's right, my friend. And we are back. We are soul to soul. That's where we are, Joe.
Jimmy Murphy.
We are getting excited about Bruins hockey again. Win or lose, we know they're a bubble team. If they're anything above a bubble team, and if they finish out of the playoffs, I'm putting this on record now, and you can crucify me if I come on the Bruins beat when they're eliminated from the playoffs, if that happens, and I crucify them, you crucify me, because I'm telling you, that's okay with me. As long as they're, somewhere in the hunt, even if they collapse completely and take a giant step backward, the next 2 drafts are insane. I don't care. Don Sweeney's got this team headed in the right direction right now. This is going to be a fun year. There's a zillion question marks. Let's start off with them right now. Joe Gill, tell me right now, as we record right now, this is Sunday night before the first week of the season. We do not know the official roster yet. There are giant question marks, good ones be it. Who's your top 6 right now for the Boston Bruins up front?
Well, I just broke out my Z Cavariccis and I just pegged them. And, I got my Drakkar Noir on right now, and I'm all ready to go out on the night of the town, my friend. So I'll tell you. You love that. Didn't you love that? Look at that was great. I remember that song, dude, cruising around my friend's Bellari. But anyway, I'm excited. I'm going to tell you straight up. I'm one of those fans that just basically pay attention to the regular season. I'm not going to lie to you. I watched one playoff game. One postseason game. God, Jimmy, help me out here. Preseason game. Jesus. Preseason game against, because, Nesson plays them every other 5th game, if they decide they have. Anytime before Charlie Moore.
It's got an announcer every other game.
Yeah, if there's any time between Charlie Moore and, the guy with the ShamWow. So if there's any time between them, they put the Bruins preseason games on. So I watched the one when they were playing, I think, when Tuukka let up a goal and everybody went shithouse on Tuukka. Of course, they have to go crazy on Tuukka, even in the preseason game. So, of course, I had to leave a video that says, are we doing this already, people? But do you talk about the top 6 forwards? I mean, Bjork, I've seen I saw the goal he scored with the feed from Bergeron off his knee. Sick. I mean, I'm looking really forward to him. I mean, he's pretty much locked up a spot. I know DeBruski's I think he's pretty much into. And I know a couple of the other spots are up for grabs still until the last day. And I know Torrey Krug's spot's up for grabs still until they make their final roster announcement. But I'll tell you right now, it's super exciting finally, again. Probably the first time in 3 years that, you got all these young kids, you want to see what they can do. It's kind of like when they, drafted Sagan. What's he going to do? How is he going to mature? How's he going to go? And we all know how that ended up. But I'm looking forward to this new crop of kids.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you brought up a guy there, Joe. I mean, the top 6 is going to be so interesting, right? And it's not just – it's twofold of why it's going to be interesting, okay? There's a guy that we're all talking about the youth. We're all excited about all these young guys coming in. Who's going to crack the lineup? Who's going to crack the top six? This guy Bjork, JFK. You got Heinen. You got DeBrusque. You got all these guys, right? But there's this older guy, and I'm not quite sure that like he was. I mean, let's get right to it. How old's David Krejci again?
90,
right?
95. Got in a fight the other night, which is come on, people. That's the last guy I want to get in a fight. Thank you very much.
All right, so here's how I'm going to combine this. These are two X factors for me in the Boston Bruins season right now. One of them would be a guy that is, he's old enough, slightly, to remember this musician here. And it's somebody you referenced already, my friend. Do you remember this freaky 90s girl?
I want to dress up as a teddy bear and walk around Iceland. Let's do this.
That's right, my friend.
You know, Jimmy, I'm going to tell you something right now. She's kind of sexy and weird.
Bjork, the best dorm sex music ever invented. We agree?
You know, she's sexy in like a real coffee shop kind of, like 11 in the morning. You're still like high or drunk off the night before. Kind of like, I'm going to give you like, maybe the coffee you didn't ask for, but you're okay with it.
Okay? So we go from Krejci to Bjork. Those are my two huge X factors of this year. Because think about it.
Yes.
The defense somehow has magically just had this reincarnation and looked like the worst thing ever before. But, I mean, if they can manage Chara's minutes, that's a big if, because he'll be stubborn and want more. But if he allows them to manage his minutes right, if Kevin Miller continues to transform into more of a Renaissance man, combining the current style and his rock'em sock'em style, and Adam McQuaid is just Adam McQuaid, and Charlie McAvoy comes in, he's himself, he can handle the 82-game schedule, and I can't believe I'm saying this. I'm not as worried about the D as I am about the top six.
Yeah, me too.
Okay?
Yeah, I
because
agree.
if Bjork slots in and he does his job, which I think he will, okay? I'm more like, if I'm 90% of thinking I'm calling one, Bjork is going to be a superstar. If I'm 20 out of 100% on this could be the downfall of the Bruins if he doesn't get his act together, David Krejci is the guy. Really? I think David Krejci's year, whether it's here, whether they trade him, I don't care. David Krejci, to me, is the X factor of the Boston Bruins this year.
Oh, you got to step up, no doubt. Well, I heard Pierre McGuire was saying all good. He got in a big froth. I think he's pretty much saturating his own juices talking about Bjork when he played Notre Dame. So,
hey,
I'm looking
seen him
forward to
play
him.
at Notre Dame too, my friend.
What's that?
I've seen him play for Notre Dame too.
Of course you are. Of course you did. You're a leprechaun. You saw everything Notre Dame does.
Knock, knock. Who's there? Banana, banana, banana.
Hey, can I ask you a question? Just going off the little side note here.
Grid.
Why is it every Irish-fearing human being needs to like Notre Dame?
I didn't like them for the longest time. But then I lived in a wonderful city in Western Mass that goes by the name of Holyoke. And
really,
you're either Puerto Rican, you're Polish, or you're Irish, or you're a Notre Dame fan, or you're all the above.
Really, I did not know that.
That's how it goes in Holyoke, my friend. I lived there for 4 years, and I go back for their St. Patty's Parade, which currently is the fourth biggest St. Patty's Parade in North America.
Shut up.
Yes, look it up.
So who's the one? Southie?
No, New York City.
And then Southie's probably second.
Then Chicago. Ready?
Yep.
Then Savannah, Georgia.
Oh, what the fuck? Really?
Yes. Okay, and then Holyoke,
I'm going to take a statue down now.
And then Holyoke, Mass. Okay?
Is ahead of Southie?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, my friend. So, Holyoke, Massachusetts, Joe. Yes, right there in the midst of things in the top St. Patty's parades, and relaying that all back to the Boston Bruins is because I said that's where my passion for Notre Dame originated, and my extended love for a little Anders Bjork. I'm just, I've talked with the music people at TD Garden. They are considering the former weird-looking but definitely sex-suitable music of Bjork as a goal song, or maybe the Fighting Irish song.
I'd rather burn that in hell than listen to that bullshit.
But back to what I was saying, Joe. We both agree Bjork's a huge influence on this team, good or bad, right? So that's how the Bergeron, Marchand, we think Bjork line will go. And I say David Krejci is the biggest, but you might think it's a different guy. Who are you thinking, brother?
Duke, the guy, the whipping boy, the person who gets bitch slapped more than anybody I've ever seen in my life.
Bullshit.
It's amazing. It's amazing. Jimmy, I'm pretty sure if there was not a guy called Tim Thomas who had one of the most historic years in the history of hockey and the world, that Tuukka would not give the shit he gets right now. But the thing is, everybody's comparing him to Tuukka. Like, whoever comes in after Tom Brady, like if Jimmy G comes in after Tom Brady, you cannot compare the two. It's apples and oranges, boys and girls, until Jimmy G wins 5 rings or Tuukka wins his cup by himself. You can't, he is a 1B goalie right now. And just be happy you have a 1B goalie that keeps you in all these games. They give you a sniff of the playoffs the 2 years you missed it and the 1 year you got in. Be happy about it. Jesus. It's unbelievable. Like, and I think you and I have had this discussion more about Tim Thomas. I mean, he said he had a couple good years, but he was not Patrick Roy. He was not Ken Dryden. He was not the best goalie on the earth. He had a couple good years, really good years. But he had a couple. He was not from get-go when he broke into the lineup to when he ended his, going off the reservation because he really hates, people who go to Chick-fil-A. He had his bad moments. He had some bad series. He had the series against Carolina, shitty series, terrible series when they lost to that dude who punched out, what's his face, the guy that punched out the other guy, Aaron Ward or whatever it was.
Scott Walker.
Scott Walker. Like, he was not a god. He was far from a god.
Don't ask me how I remember that.
But this is the thing. He comes in after a guy who won a Stanley Cup with an epic year, and everybody thinks he's going to pick up right where he left off. Now, of course, I will go to war again and say if you take his 2013 numbers and 2011 numbers of Tim Thomas, you compare the two, they're almost identical in the playoffs, beside the cup.
Yeah.
So, but no one wants to see that, though, because they didn't win. Well, Joe, why they didn't win?
Joe, you're preaching to the choir, brother. Everything you're saying is so valid, and I love to hear it. Like, I really do, and I know, you come from, a huge fan base there. You've got a huge following, and, I don't get it. I don't understand it, and, I see it from an objective point of view. I'm not seeing it the way Bruins fans see it. I'm seeing it from an objective point of view, and I'm telling you, when I go to different NHL cities, Joe, I need to tell you, they're so jealous of Tuukka Rask.
I bet.
I talked to, for listeners who don't know, and I'm not trying, this is nothing by me bragging, okay? I'm not trying to say, I get to talk to this guy and I get to talk to this guy. No, actually, the guys I love to talk to the most are the people that don't get mentioned the most when it comes to the media, in terms of NHL teams, the GMs, the assistant GMs, the coaches. It's the scouts. It's the scouts. It's those guys that drive all over God's earth and scout the living shit out of hockey and watch more hockey than, you can even imagine, okay? And they have to take notes on it all, and they bleed it, and they get so excited about certain players. And this guy, I scouted him last 5 games. Murph, he's really rising here. You got to watch this guy. That's the shit I love about my job. And I don't think I've met many scouts, okay, or positional coaches whether it be a guy who coaches forwards or a guy who coaches D or a guy who coaches goalies. It has to be in the 5 percentile out of 100 that don't think Tuukka Rask is one of the best goalies of the last 15 years. And yet in Boston, he gets crucified. I don't get it, Joe. You made a great point. Maybe it's the prelude that happened to him, the Tim Thomas. Maybe it's the choke job that happened in front of him. Not him. In front of him against Philly in 2010. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's, like he's not North American. He's not American. I don't know. He's a Finn.
Stupid.
I have no goddamn idea. But you idiots out there who knock Tuukka Rask, you need to shut it. And you need to appreciate what you have.
Cierra la boca, chicos and chicas.
And I'm going to tell you a great Tuukka story. I can't even remember the name of the band right now. And it took me like at least 15 to 20 minutes to find them on YouTube, just typing in different things. He is a hardcore metal fan. So for any of you hardcore metal fans out there, and he loves Metallica. Okay, that's his go-to band that we all know about. But Finland, in case any of you people don't know, is
death metal.
Oh yeah, they're well known for death metal, man. And Tuukka's into that. And you have no idea what his pregame ritual is like. I had the pleasure of by accident seeing it one time. And this guy just puts on the headphones and is in he's in a zone, man. And he's bugging out to this stuff. And he's getting into it and he's ready. We're lucky to have him. And I'm with you, Joe. I think he gets unfair criticism here. Let's get into it right now. NHL preview and Bruins preview right now. We'll start with the Bruins stuff. Where do they finish in the division, the conference? Do they make the playoffs? Do they not make the playoffs? Give us your take right now, Joe.
Jim Murphy, I don't give a shit about the division. I care about the actual, just getting in the show. I think in the East, they're going to be 6, 7, 8, around there somewhere. I see them actually making some noise in the first round and maybe even winning a round, believe it or not. I think it all kind of hinges on how Tuukka's going to be. It hinges on how Carlo performs.
I got to pin you down, Joe. You can't go 6, 7, 8. Are they in as a division top 3, or are they in as a wild card?
Well, looking at the Atlantic. I mean, Montreal's going to be good. We all know that. Montreal's going to be good. Toronto's up on the rise. I think Buffalo's still a back.
There's this team that was kind of missing this really good guy last year.
Ottawa.
No. There's this team.
Tampa.
They got ravaged by the hurricane. They're in this Florida city.
Tampa. I think Tampa will be there. Florida will be there.
They're going to win the division, by the way. They might win the Eastern Conference regular season title. They might win the National. They might win the President's Trophy. Steven Stamkos, if he's healthy, Tampa Bay is a team to beat, man.
Tampa, like I said, Tampa's going to be there. So more likely not a top 3. So Tampa's going to be there. Tampa's going to be there. Montreal's going to be there. I believe Ottawa's probably going to be there as well. I don't think Florida's going to be that good. I think Buffalo is still Buffalo, and Jack Eichel's probably at one point going to shoot his way out of town because they're a bag of fiery dog shit. They just because they're from Buffalo. They're not very going to be good. I don't think they're ever going to get that team together. But I think they're going to probably sneak in as a wild card. They're probably going to play in the other division, the Metro. They're probably going to draw someone like the Rangers of Washington, which I think Washington might be horrible. But if they draw like a Rangers team or something like that, which I think they stack up good against, I think they could steal that that playoff series.
Okay. Your conversation, your answer there proved everything I'm saying right now. What a goddamn crapshoot it is. Really, here's what I look at it. When I'm looking at the East, right? And I'm looking at my definites in the playoffs. Okay? I'm just going to give you 4 teams. I'm going to sort of trend. I'm going to go through the Metro and the Atlantic. I'm just going to give you 4 teams. I've got Tampa Bay, Pitt, Columbus, and Toronto. I think the only 4 guarantees for me out of 8 teams in the Eastern Conference that make it. After that, it's a goddamn crapshoot to me.
You think Toronto's in?
Do I think Toronto's in? I think Toronto could play in the Stanley Cup final.
Whoa. Slow your roll there, my friend.
No, I won't slow my roll.
Really? Who they got in net now? Who's in net for them? I'm just trying to remember. Who's in net for Toronto now?
Joe, it doesn't matter who's in net.
Really?
They have the second greatest player in the world. Well,
I know you got Sheldon Frost and Matthews.
Third. You know, Joe, they're gonna win let's see, I was about to say they're gonna win Atlantic, but I'm like, no, Tampa Bay Lightning are gonna win it. The Tampa Bay Lightning will win the Atlantic, and then I have it between Pittsburgh and Columbus to win the Metro.
Okay,
so
that makes
relaying
sense.
back to the Atlantic, after that, it's a crapshoot for me. It's a complete crapshoot.
Well, Toronto's problem has always been that they have enough offensive talent, but they don't have the defense of the goaltender.
They'll
so
get
that
that.
might be
Frederick Anderson is a nasty goalie. He'll be fine.
okay.
Frederick Anderson is fine. Here's my thing. If it's coming to the Bruins, I think we're both in agreement they're going to be one of the wild card teams, right?
Yeah, probably.
Okay. So let's, like you said, screw the division. Who cares about that? Let's look at the wild card race. So if I'm looking at the wild card race, Joe, I've got the Bruins. I've got Philly. I've got Carolina. I've got the Maple Leafs. Maybe if they drop further than I think. I've got the Habs. I've got everybody except Columbus and Pitt and Tampa Bay all sort of scrambling and falling somewhere at the end. And you know, wherever we fall, we may fall. It's that crazy. And that's why I think another huge X factor, but this isn't on the ice, I think it's off the ice, will be what GM is able to balance the present and the future the best. The salary cap as well. Right? Because there's so many teams where you could say, well, they're that defenseman away. They're that forward away. They're that goalie away. There's so many teams in the East right now where you could say that. And in the West, too. We won't even get into that because we're just focused on the Bruins right now. So I don't know, man. But that's why, like, going back to the way we started the show, Joe, I mean, I can't be mad or ecstatic for where the Bruins finish. I'm just going to enjoy the ride.
Yes.
And I think that's, like, it's the first time where people, you know, whether it be media fans, what have you, even people with the team, I think it's the first time where we're all accepting that. And I hope that when it comes down to it, when the trade deadline comes, and the Bruins are going to be right there, you know, on the edge, as I think we both agree, I hope that Jeremy Jacobs just lets Don Sweeney, and to a further extent Cam Neely, I hope he lets them do their job. Because
your job.
Because, no, Joe, as we've discussed on this show before, he's got bigger picture in his mind and it has nothing to do with the Bruins. And I hope that all that shit doesn't fall into what he allows his management team to do when it comes time to making them better for the now and the future. They cannot think they're Stanley Cup contenders, but they can also not think that they're, you know, cellar dwellers. They need to pace themselves both in a positive and a realistic way. And,
Jimmy,
and I hope Don Sweeney's allowed to do that. That's all I have to say.
As much as you hate Michael Felger, he's completely on track when he says what I want out of this team this year, like I did last year, was to make the playoffs, make a little noise, and develop two more kids. Like Jimmy, I know, like as I said, you don't like the Felger at all, but the thing is, he's completely been on. He's a Bruins fan, as we know. You know, this is one of the few teams he talks about in Boston he's actually a fan of. He's all about saying that the Bruins got to make progress by, you know, making the playoffs as well as developing a couple young kids every year. Last year was Carlo and I guess McAvoy to a degree at the end, right? It's Pasternak too. And then this year I think it'll be, you know, probably McAvoy a little bit more, Bjork possibly, DeBrusque, maybe JFK. So a couple of those kids develop, they go around and maybe win a round. I'm saying success. They're not going to be a real heavy contender for another year, at least.
Yeah, I'm with you, and I think it's great that a lot of people like us that are, you know, where it was like last year, Jeremy Jacobs saying, "Oh, we're going for a deep playoff run," and I'll never forget the look on Don Sweeney and Cam Neely's face. They were like,
"What?"
They were like, "Fuck me, are you kidding me?
Are you high?"
Like, did he just say that?
Dude, I never laughed so hard in my life when I heard that. I was like, okay.
So you remember it, right?
Oh, God.
Yeah, it was Media Day. And by the way, Media Day this Tuesday, we'll have lots of sound from that, Joe, for the Bruins Beat and CLNS Media and Murphy's Hockey Law. By the way, had a good convo, and that will be going live as well with the Bruins Beat, Murphy's Hockey Law for CLNS Media and murphyshockeylaw.net. Joe, I had a great convo with Rob Simpson. You remember him from his Nesson days. Yeah. And, you know, it's pretty evident. You'll listen to it. Rob really loved Boston. Like, he loved it. And I know, and he didn't say it there. I don't mind saying it right now. He's in the mix. They're going to, as far, last I heard, and this could change by the time we go live online, but I heard it's going to be a rotation for the Bruins radio announcers. Rob Simpson is a play-by-play guy, and I'm telling you right now, I think he would have been great with Beersy. I think my vote is Rob Simpson for play-by-play guy. Hopefully playoffs too. I think he'd be great, and you'll hear it in Murphy's Hockey Law, and I can just tell you from knowing the man, and I'm not just saying that because he's my friend, he's just such a great guy to sit and talk hockey with, whether you're on air or off air. And he had some interesting things about the Bruins, too. I mean, he's kind of like us, Joe. He's like, Jesus, man. It's funny. The Bruins and the Canadians are kind of like screwing up everybody's predictions. Like, where do we put everybody? You know, and you and I were just saying off air, the Canadians, I mean, as of now, Joe, I have the Bruins' arch rivals missing the playoffs as of now.
I love it. Let's do it, hopefully.
You love it because you hate Claude.
I hate everything at Montreal because, I used to grow up there and I used to hate Americans so much.
I actually love Claude.
Just the whole thing about the play-by-play thing with even with 985 Sports Hub, it's like, let's have one guy. I mean, I've heard three people. Ryan Johnson was decent. Andrew Kaufman, or whatever his name is. I'm sorry, not a fan. No offense, dude. And then Judge Surratt, whoever that dude is, I thought he was great. So I don't know who that guy is.
Judge Surratt's great. Actually, funny story. When I started my radio career, when I first started on Sirius XM, and I was doing many moons ago, and it was like right when they started to have cars drive.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, but no, Judge Surratt was working for a Mark Cuban company called HD Net.
Wow.
I don't know if you remember that. And they had amazing broadcast. Dave Strader, God bless his soul, he passed away.
Oh, that's shame. 62.
Rest in peace to Dave. And we give a great send-off to Dave on Murphy's Hockey Law this week. I'm with you. I would do either Ryan Johnson or Judge Surratt because those are the candidates, but I think a guy that should be in the mix is Rob Simpson. But getting back to the Canadians.
Suck.
Okay, they never got their number one center they needed, right? They openly shopped Alex Galchenyuk, and now they still have him, and they're stuck with him, and now they don't know if he's going to be on the third line, the second line, the fourth line, what have you. He sucks. He's not living up to his potential. They lost, not Zubov. They lost arguably their best defenseman, right? And I mean, what do they have going for him? Yeah, Jonathan Drouin's great. He slots in as a number 2 center but he's your number 1 center now, and he's not even a center. He's supposed to be a wing. I mean, if Carey Price continues this downward injury trend, they're screwed.
And I'm completely okay with them being screwed. So.
You are. But don't you think that, like the Bruins, Joe, in not only the Atlantic Division, but in the Eastern Conference, are they not a really huge X factor to watch?
Of course. I mean, they're a rival. Of course.
No, but not for that reason. I'm just looking at the grand things. When it comes down to it and all these teams are battling for a playoff spot, I think the Bruins and the Habs are in that mix, right? And we've discussed other teams, but they're in that mix. They're going. They're I'm going to make the playoffs. You're not. You're going to make they're battling at the end. They're jousting for position. Mark Bergevin, Joe.
Fuck that guy.
6 year. He's saying you're supposed to have your plan in place. You're supposed to have your plan in place in the 5th year, Joe. So let me ask you, is this guy not going to be desperate?
Oh, he has to be.
Okay. So he's going to make or break on a trade for his career and for the Canadians. And I think that's fun to watch as a Bruins fan. I
gotta say right now, I mean, PK Subban making the Stanley Cup Final is definitely going to weigh on him. There's no doubt about that. He's on pressure now.
So your pairing is going to be a kid who's never played in the NHL. Victor Mete is going to be your pairing with Shea Weber on your top D pairing.
Ooh,
I mean, that's great and all for your future. Yeah, great. You have a kid on the rise. Good for you. But should he be really in your top 2? They're in big trouble, man.
Good, and I'm all about them being in big trouble.
And so I hope Bruins fans, watch it. You think I'm all Canadians because I lived in Montreal. You guys think I'm a traitor. I'm not. I tell it like it is. And I'm telling you right now, the Canadians are make or break for a long time. They are in a very precarious position, and that's going to be something to watch if you're a Bruins fan, because if they go the wrong way, it's going to be comical.
Jimmy, it's like this old, French Canadian thing I learned. It's like, let's suck it. So you think it's suck.
Tabernacle. All right, Joe, I'm going to put you on the spot.
I hate their fan base. I hate the team. I hate the people who are, moved up there from Boston covering the team, pretending they're not a fucking traitor. I hate the, I hate the coach that was, said I'd never coached Montreal, and he gets fired from Boston. He goes back to Montreal. You know what? They can all burn in hell, because you know why? Because down in hell they don't have any of their croissant or the French dressing or French toast. That's from Better Off Dead. French bread. So they're going to screw it. Okay? I hope that team burns in hell. I've never hated a franchise more in my life. I think it goes them, probably the Pittsburgh Steelers, New York Jets, and Montreal's number 1. I just loathe them from my loins. I mean, the pain, from my loins up. The hatred for that team. I can't wait to beat them senseless. I really can't. I want to play them every year in the playoffs and beat them.
Okay.
Because I fucking hate them because they're so arrogant. The fan base, everything about it.
Do you like poutine though?
Oh God, dude, I eat that fucking wannabe shit from Wendy's because it just sounds like it. I eat that all day.
Okay, all right.
I love cheese curds.
Joe, come on. I'm gonna tell you, you're wrong to hate the people from Montreal. You're wrong to hate their fans. You can hate the team all you want, but you know what? As I learned, as I got older, and as I hated the Yankees so much, and I still do, God bless their fans too. I respect it. It's a great rivalry. Montreal, Joe, the people from Montreal are really great hockey fans. And I'll let you know the majority of them respect the majority of us. So I got to go on the defense for Montreal there, and for all my peeps and McLean's and Hurley's and Brutopia and my friend base there. I can't let you talk that way about the people of Montreal, Joe. You can talk that way about their team, but you gotta respect the other side of the rivalry, man.
Jimmy, let me tell you that Quebec is only an island surrounded by Canada with no water.
The women are a lot more beautiful than the ones here.
With no water.
That's just a fact. But anyhow, and the people are wonderful. I'm telling you, if you came on, and you're more than invited, my birthday weekend's coming up, November 3rd, 4th, and 5th.
Mark it down.
I'm going to Montreal. You are more than invited. And if you see Montreal,
everybody is invited to come Super Sex.
Jimmy Murphy, I think we'll come back on this podcast and you'll have a very different opinion of that.
But the question is, will Jimmy Murphy go to Super Sex? Will they make him go around the pole with no pants on?
No, we will go back. We will go to Chez Paris, and we will go to the little dives on the way when you cross the border.
I'm just still there.
Yeah, Chez Paris is our place, though, man.
No, is Wanda still there, though?
Wanderers is still there.
Oh, I remember. Let me tell you a quick story about Montreal. So I went to Montreal. Oh, shit. I was 20 at the time, probably 93-ish, I want to say. The Bruins won the division.
Yep.
We were at Wanda's before the game, and he's like, if the Bruins win, you come back. And you get the front row. We're like, okay, sure. So we go there. The Bruins smoke them. We have a big parade down St. Catherine Street. Everybody hated us for it. We go back there. He's like, oh, my Bruins fans, front row. Wanda's is here for you. And we're like, oh, yes. And the rest of the night I cannot divulge on any public record. But it was a beautiful evening.
Oh, there you go. All right. So don't hate the peeps. Hate the team.
Fuck
this
them.
Is the Bruins beat. Where are the Bruins finishing, Joe? I'm putting you on the spot. Are they
6,
in
7,
or
or 8,
out?
bitches.
Are they in or out?
They're in 6, 7, or 8 seed.
You can't do. You got to pick one or the other. Are they in the top 6 or are they wild card? Wild
They're
card.
a
or
wild
top
card.
6?
All right, I forgot. They're a wild card.
They're a wild card. I'm with you. They make it in as a wild card.
Beat the Rangers first round.
And I don't know. Who knows what happens from there? We're gonna say one thing before we go. We were talking about dark horses. Your guy is Tuca, right?
Well, I mean, I would say he's the dark. I think the dark horse that needs to really step up. End of the day is Carlo has to have a year as good or better than he had last year.
Interesting. It's a great call. I'm gonna stick with Krejci. This has been another edition of the Bruins Beat. It's Joe Gill and
Amen,
myself,
bitches.
Jimmy Murphy, here on CLNS Media. Drop the puck.
Go Bees.